Okay. Well, good thing they had one left. Ding! In the size that I wanted, and it's a beautiful color. I wanted the silver one, but I don't think they stock the silver one. Like, it's all metal looking. But yeah, look at that. So pretty. But, so, good news is, the bamboo straw fits when the lid is off. It fits in my back pocket. It actually fits in this bag, but that's just because this bag is, like, insane. So that's all good. It's not crazy heavy, but it is definitely heavy. Great size, blah, blah, blah. But the cap is weird. The cap is, like, not a normal cap. Look, watch. Bloop! Little straw comes out. And then whoop, straw goes away. It's a metal straw, like a steel straw inside. So I guess when you're drinking like straight through it, it's just silicone tipped and then metal, so that's good. But the inside is all plastic of that cap. And I think that the cap that is just and the steel straw is removable, so I can like take this off, take the straw out, just use it as a normal cap if I wanted to. Kind of no different. Or I could share drinks with people because now I have 2 straws. So I guess that's something. Yeah, I guess ideally somewhere I would find the original cap, which is just a normal cap. But, you know, I guess this does make it, like, able to be used with one hand because the opening is quite easy. Opening and closing is quite easy. So that's nice. I've never been a big, like, straw person. I'm normally a chug tilt person, but there you go. Anyway, way too much information. This is not important. So I got this. It was expensive, but worth it for all the plastic I'm going to save from now on, and all the teas and stuff I can drink from it. So that's good. And now I am walking to Decathlon to see if they have any my third bottle, my tertiary level bottle, an easy to clean, lightweight, small to replace a 500ml plastic, and then to also buy carabiners. I think maybe like 3 or 4, because this I want to clip onto my bag, or I want to clip onto the bag, or clip onto something somewhere, or when they take the lid off to drink from it normally, I want to be able to click the lid somewhere so that it's not in the way. I think the metal straw is going to be kind of annoying, but we'll see how that goes. I will find some way of getting the normal cap if I can. Maybe, I don't know how. Oh well, I'll find a way. So yeah, feels good. It's a start. It's a good start. So, yeah. So I went to a small Decathlon to find a carabiner. They only had teeny tiny ones. So I went to an outdoor shop. They didn't have them. They said, go to the shop next door, they'll have it. Okay. Went to the shop right next door. They were like, no, we don't have any. But the shop next door to us, well, okay. So I went to them and they were like, no, we don't have any. But if you go a couple doors down, then you'll find some. And I was like, okay. So I went a couple doors down and they didn't have any. So I went to the Decathlon all the way across town. And then when I got there, they had carabiners, but their carabiners were huge or tiny. So the guy said, you should go to Mr. DIY in the place nearby. So that's where I'm going now. What a journey. It was at the climbing gym the whole time. So overall, this carabiner cost me in baht, I guess 500 baht or something. Because I went all the way to the fucking DIY shop and there wasn't it. I was just, I went to a shop, told me it was the next shop, told me it was the next shop, told me it was the next shop, next shop, next shop, next shop. The whole time I was going to a climbing wall, I didn't stop to consider that they would have freaking carabiners there. Ugh! But this is probably the swankiest goddamn carabiner I've ever seen. It's like matte black, curved, smooth, quick release, beautiful, clips on and off. I tried like 5 different carabiners and this was the winner, and it cost me many baht. 350 baht? You know what? It costs for quality or something. Plus, if I ever need to carry what it's registered for, which is like 2 tons or something, then now I can carry 2 tons. So, where the hell am I going? Why am I allowed to have money?
I should not be allowed money. I just spend money.
Let me show you. So, one interesting thing about this bottle. So, I don't like this cap. I think it might not be as insulated as the rest of the bottle. Because you can see, I don't know if you can see. Ooh, this lighting is awful. Well, there's condensation on the top. Can you see that? There you go. Which I think is leaking then coldness from the inside, which I don't particularly care about, but then it is just a bit like wet, which is a bit annoying, and that will just make things in my bag wet, I guess. The second thing that's annoying is this carabiner I bought, which is kind of my fault, but also like this loop doesn't come up very high, so you can't, I can't put this down unless I take this carabiner off. And then if you look, when it will go down, I'll need like some tiny ass string like to fit in this gap. So I might make a loop out of string and then I'll carabiner the loop rather than carabinering just the metal. I do want to find the better lid. I took out the metal straw from inside, so this thing now pops up still. Blink. And this, I will admit, is kind of fun. And it is one-hand operable, just about, if I have a surface. Not usefully one-hand operable, but it is technically. But I took out the metal straw, which fits inside the bamboo straw. It's in there, don't worry, trust me, it's in there. Here it is. Because when the metal straw is in the silicone bit and you drink from it, some liquid stays in the silicone tip. So when you turn the lid to close it, it pushes liquid out and then liquid ends up in the top and it leaks it all out. Look at that little drippy bit. So if I had this in here, it would be attached like inside, and I could just do it without needing to tip the bottle. But it makes this leakiness. I might try it. It's just annoying. I'll try it with water later and see if it's like how full it is or if it's a skill issue. But otherwise the bottle is, I mean the bottle is what I want it to be, it's just this lid I don't like. So I'm going to try and find the twist cap, because even though this is kind of like useful to have this straw sometimes, It's kaffir lime and sugarcane juice in here. It's really good. Yeah, the condensation. Maybe it's okay. Maybe this lid is okay. I just need a little like string loop to attach this to. I think that'll be better. Anyway, and then I don't know why I bought this. I bought this. It's a like they're toothpastes. I bought 150 of them. And you can use half in the morning and half in the evening. And it will last me 150 days, which is amazing. And it's non-liquid, which is useful. And it's zero waste packaging, which is good. And while I travel, I won't have to buy plastic toothpaste bottles. So it is good. It is good. It's heavier than plastic, but I think at this point I basically have just given up on the weight thing. And then I have this, which I was given for free. It's a loofah. But I'm thinking I don't need a loofah. So, but I do want a cleaning brush for my stuff, my pots, pans, and this and whatever. I was just going to use a cloth, but this would be better than a cloth. And so I was thinking of cutting it in half, using the bit with the loop, attaching a stick to it, a kind of somehow a stick like this or whatever, or yeah, and then that would be maybe folding, maybe looping the top. And then I could clean stuff, or I just cut it in half and hold it with my hand and clean stuff with it as a little scrub-a-dub-dub, a little sponge to clean. And it's non-plastic, I don't think. This doesn't look like plastic. It's not plastic. I don't know what that is, but it's not plastic. So yeah. I also bought some postcards. This is proof for those who didn't receive the postcards last time, because I know some of them arrived and some of them didn't. So I'm not going to show you the fronts, but I bought some postcards and I'll be sending these out. Which should be fun. So I'm going to write all of these, I guess, now from in my room. Yeah. What else? I was thinking about the zero waste thing, and I've been doing better and better and better. And then the problem is, all food, basically, all snacks and stuff, comes in plastic packaging. It's just, you can always push further at the cost of your well-being. I could not buy snacks. What's the word I'm looking for? Non-necessary, excess, technically, non-necessary food you could cut out entirely. Any that come with plastic. So crisps or like little rice. I'm looking over here because look, this was rice crackers. Even fruit here often comes packaged. So, yeah, I was just been thinking about like where I pull and push on the boundaries of trying to lower my waist, and I think it just must be doing the best that you can in the areas that you can. The places where I'm being I'm multiple occasions able to swap out a solution for something that uses less plastic. I should do that. Like if I don't have access to water, that's why I have purification tablets. I have iodine tablets that Hannah gave me. So instead of buying water bottles, I should be carrying those around and purifying some water that I find, tap water that I find. Or I buy a filter or something. Like ways to sustainably reduce my waste in my own personal what's it called, routine. I went climbing today. That was fun. I need to do my Cambodia e-visa. That's why I was here. That's why I did. It's one of the reasons I came back. Also, when the straw is in that and I undo the top and I clip the top to my bag and I just hold the thing as a mug, which I like. When the straw is in it, the straw just dangles. It's gross. Anyway, now I have this. I had a funny thought. I was listening to someone talk about Genesis. Okay, I had two thoughts. I'll do the Genesis one first. I was listening to someone talk about Genesis and Adam and Eve, and someone asked a Catholic what they thought that the Adam and Eve story was, if it's literal in some ways. And the Adam and Eve story is kind of around Adam and Eve are in heaven. God says, don't eat from this tree of knowledge of good and evil, because you'll die. Then the snake is like, nah, you won't die. And then she's like, nom nom nom, oh look, I didn't die. And then she's like, hey Adam, eat this. And then he does, and then they get kicked out. And I was thinking, there must have been, through evolution, a point at which our reason and our ability to rationalize good and evil surpassed the more primal, amoral, animalistic tendencies, and we must have tipped from non-awareness into awareness of our own morality, where we would have looked at the world around us and suddenly we would have had the knowledge of good and evil. Right? I mean, I know that everything will be spectrally delivered through evolution or whatever, as in like, you probably can't draw a discrete... Well, you probably can't draw a discrete line from where we're sat now, but maybe if you had access to every single generation and their experience, you could draw a line where at some point we tipped into being aware of morality. Not just preference, like animalistic preference, but like rational deconstruction. And there must have been, maybe it was an attached factor to other things that we were sexually selecting for, But surely it was potentially something that was chosen for by mates at the time. And so there would have been this couple from the first generation of moral landmark shifting that would have had to decide whether they procreate to continue moral understanding through their children, and thus have gained awareness of the good and evil, and not only go through pain, but their pain is transcendent, and by their choice. They could have chosen not to, by the very definition of them being non-reactive moral agents. Their choice was an active one against, I guess, the divinity of blissful ignorance and unawareness from their parents, who had less awareness, and maybe not enough to understand them or their awareness. And maybe that pair chose actively, with the knowledge that their future progeny would, or maybe they didn't know that they would bear that. But maybe that's one possible reflection on what Genesis is talking about. Is it Genesis? I think it must be Genesis. I don't know. I haven't read it in a while. So I thought that was a cool thought that made me just think about sexually selecting for moral reasoning. I'm sure that it is likely that it was not the reason, and it was not actively in itself sexually selected for by people being like, damn, that guy can morally reason, let's fuck. But a byproduct of greater intelligence and problem solving and creativity and that kind of thing. But also, I'm not an anthropologist. I do know anthropologists. Maybe I'd debate them on this. Or just ask them. Why does it have to be a debate? Just have a conversation. I'm tired of the debates. I don't like watching the debates anymore. I just like watching the conversations so much better. And the other one thing I've been thinking of is living like your God. People, even some of the greatest minds by the divine, what am I talking about? Within the divine different pantheons, do not live as their messiahs lived. How many people live as Jesus lived and follow that example? How many? Well, to be fair to Buddhism, a lot of the monks actually do try and live like Buddha did. That's kind of reasonable. It's only really high-ranking order people who do. But that... I guess followers have always been a thing and always been catered for. But why? Why is there this multiple order of what's good enough? I don't know that I believe in that. Maybe I do. This is a very confusing point for me in my head. Like Jesus being like, well, yeah, there's going to be a load of people that won't be able to make the decision to live like me, and that's okay. They can live by these rules and just do better. And they'll be, by the grace of God, saved. And if you're saved, there is no greater saved. You're just saved. Afterlife, heaven, etc.
There's no like heaven level 2. I don't think. So why do anything but the minimum? And if the reason not to just live by the minimum is greater salvation and greater joy and greater peace and greater happiness and greater connectedness, why stop and let people live their lives as they are and not push for them to live as they should? Live like your God. Live like your Messiah. Unless they aren't really a true prophet and they're just a person and you can adapt and change their message to apply to your life, and then they're just a teacher. But that's different. Maybe they're, yeah, but that's a whole different thing. That's for agnostics and atheists only. Sorry, theists. Well, kind of.